Oh, now we're live.
Keeping it honest.
You are fake news.
Keeping it real.
I want to smoke some pot.
And keeping it libertarian.
I'm a libertarian for life.
These are the Fakertarians.
My superpower is being honest. I'll eat your ass. I will.
Hey guys, my name is John Hudak. Welcome to the Fakertarians podcast.
Oh my God, that fake.
I'm here with co-hosting with Jeremy Kantorowicz and Jordan Logue. Today we have on Anthony Macias, who's a Republican from California. How are you doing today, Anthony?
Oh, I'm doing very well today. How about you guys?
Good. So what is your current official position with the California Republican Party?
Just state delegate.
And how long have you had that position or any other position with the California?
Since 2015, January of 2015.
Okay. Is that about how long you've been working with Republican candidates?
No, I've been involved. Well, I've been a registered Republican voter since I turned 18, which is in 2008. But I first got officially involved in politics in about 2010 with the Tea Party movement. Kind of went more to the libertarian side in 2012 with Ron Paul's second presidential campaign, and it just went from there.
And when you were running for office, how much fundraising do you think you had to do for just a regular state level position? How much of a barrier is fundraising to getting into politics?
Oh, fundraising is pretty tough. I got averaged about maybe like 6,000, which really isn't that much to note, but that's also not including filing fees, which is about $1,000 as well.
Oh, okay. So you did register your earnings with the FEC and all that?
The FPPC, especially for my 2016 campaign.
Gotcha. Now, in 2014, you said that you were running with the backing of the Log Cabin Republicans for your election that year. Now,
yes,
the California Log Cabin Commissioner and Chairman John Musella was quoted as saying, "We're not aware of his intentions to run for the state senate and has not approached us regarding any endorsement."
What they said was the past endorsement doesn't imply current endorsement, because in 2016 there was another Republican who was also LGBT friendly, so they decided not to endorse in that race as they did in 2014.
So just out of curiosity, what was the reason that all of your campaign slogans were 14 words long?
Oh, I've only really had one campaign slogan that was 14 words long, which is the most recent.
Mm-hmm. And what was the reason that it was 14 words long?
That's just really the slogan I decided to pick. I wanted to emphasize strong and stable leadership. That was part of the slogan, and it just kind of ended up being that length.
Uh-huh. And how many other slogans did you test run publicly that all happened to be 14 words?
Well, I haven't test run any of them. I picked my own slogans. I haven't really run them by anything. The current one, I believe, actually is 15 words, though.
And you are aware that we have screenshots to show that you're currently lying, right?
Oh, no. My current slogan is right on my Twitter.
Mm-hmm. And now you've maintained from the time of Unite the Right and through trial and even after trial that James Fields did nothing wrong when he murdered Heather Meyer. You were saying that James Fields was attacked when video evidence showed that he wasn't, and his own testimony indicated that he wasn't attacked. You've claimed that Heather Meyer died from a heart attack, and it had nothing to do with the fact that a car crushed her rib cage. Do you stand by your statements that James Fields did nothing wrong?
Well, my position on the James Fields incident is that he acted out of fear, he acted out of criminal negligence, that he should have been in prison. What I think is an open question about whether he acted intentionally or with any malice.
Okay, so you revoke your previous statements of saying that he did nothing wrong.
If I had ever said in the past, then yes, I do.
Okay. Now, you've been accused of making racist and anti-Semitic statements since 2012. You've previously claimed that it was a person impersonating you. You've also claimed to be let me see. You've also been accused of using sock accounts to pretend to be black to say the N-word and posted about advocation of the ethnic cleansing of Jews. At different times, you've also claimed to be Jewish, along with Unite the Right organizer Kat Schneider. We know that you run Fakertarians as a communist group, which is why that page occasionally advocates giving money to neo-Nazis. Do you run any other pages with Kat Schneider or James Flom or anyone else who's claimed to be Jewish?
No, I don't run any pages with Kat Snyder, no, or with James
Okay,
Bond.
so libertarian nationalism was just you?
No, I'm not. I don't run Libertarian Nationalism. I became an admin for about 2 months, and then I was removed as an admin. So I really don't have much involvement in that page. I haven't one for over a year now.
Okay, so how close are you with Kat Schneider?
Kat, I'm actually not extremely close with her. I've kept in touch with her regarding Augustus's case. She's kept me updates, but I haven't really interacted with her very much recently.
Well, what about not recently? What about just in the past, let's say 5 or so years?
The most Kat Snyder, my most closest involvement with Kat Snyder is that she's the one who introduced me to Augustus. Other than that, I'm not really extremely close to her.
Okay, so the legal defense fund that for a time you claimed to work for, that she was on was she on the board for that?
I believe it was her, Chris John Cox, and the William Johnson, the guy who wrote that amendment.
Right there. I actually did. It wasn't that I was volunteering not for the ALDF, but for Augustus Invictus's firm. Augustus Invictus' firm worked for the ALDF. But I also, because of Augustus's current situation, that's no longer occurring either.
Okay, so we know that Snyder has been close to white nationalists for years and has gone so far as to post Mein Kampf on her social media. Right. She was also shown in the leaked chat logs that helped organize Unite the Right too. Why do you feel that these people are who you want to have around you?
Well, other than Augustus, I haven't really had many of them around me at all of recent. When I worked for the cases, it was purely of a position of people who went to a political rally we believed were being persecuted for their political views. As we all know, as libertarians, you should be able to express very controversial political views without fear of retribution by the government.
Right, but their controversial political views are the advocation of violence against minorities.
I disagree with that. Just referring to Augustus specifically, he hasn't referred to any violence against minorities. I can't speak for anyone else. I don't have any other involvement with anyone else from that
Augustus
rally.
has advocated for violence against minorities repeatedly.
Wasn't part of his presidential campaign platform to only allow white men to vote and own property?
One of his official platform, that was not part of his platform. He elaborated on something in his article of Reconstruction that suggested that, but it was never part of his platform. And I also do have note I didn't endorse Invictus's 2020 presidential campaign. I endorsed Donald Trump's campaign.
Did you endorse any of Augustus's previous campaigns? Because you had him as your running mate for some of them.
2016 U.S. Senate campaign.
And his subsequent campaigns after that, you were fundraising with him for your own delegate race.
He hadn't run into anything else. He was going to run for Senate in 2018, but that never ended up coming to fruition. So the only campaigns of him that I'm aware of that I had endorsed was the 2016 Senate campaign.
But in an interview, he said he was talking about constitutional amendments he wanted to repeal. And he said, right. In other words, you put all of these repeals together and you get only white male citizens have the right to vote. Furthermore, only white male citizens are eligible to own real property within the country. Are you saying that he didn't mean that, or just that it wasn't technically in his platform?
He did say that, and whether he meant that or whether he was talking just, I don't know, but I can assure you I don't agree with that position.
Okay, so following that, I guess it's not really a secret that he's also endorsed reading Siege, which is
the James Mason book. Yeah.
do you not see any problem with that? And especially considering what the book says about like people of the Jewish race.
Right. The book is problematic. I don't endorse the context of Siege.
Okay, so you're telling us that you don't endorse any of the things that this person says, but you have worked for several years to try and get him into political office.
Well, I don't disagree with everything he says. Part of his platform, especially in 2016, were things just like reforming our broken criminal justice system, ending the failed war on drugs, and all of that good stuff. And based on that, in his 2016 campaign, that was a lot very mild. If he had these views, he certainly kept them swept under the rug in 2016.
Right.
As more things came out to light, obviously he was replaced.
But didn't you appoint him as a delegate in 2019 after Charlottesville?
Associate delegate, yes.
Okay, so after he made a series of pretty openly racist comments, you decided to have him appointed as a GOP delegate in California.
Right.
Well, those happened prior to his endorsement of his 2020 presidential campaign, where he released that controversial platform. That happened in February of 2019, the appointment. He ran for office in August of the same year. And at that point, I ceased, because I did see some of his platform, and he ceased to be my running mate. He went on to do his own thing. I went on to do my own thing.
He was involved in Charlottesville a couple years before that, and he helped write the manifesto with Richard Spencer for that.
Right. Yes, he did.
Right. That didn't appear to be a deal breaker for you. It was only him very recently being arrested for violence against his own family, which seems to have been what separated you from him. None of the ethnic cleansing calls were seemingly a deal breaker for you.
Well, in my conversations with him, we've never had any talk about any ethnic cleansing. There was an incident in 2016 about a paper he had written in law school, but if I recall correctly, he had since disavowed the paper and said it no longer represented his current point of view.
Well, that was about the eugenics one, and he did say something in I think it was in 2015 when he was before the election. So I think he started his run in 2015 when he was running for Senate. He did say that he didn't agree with the paper anymore, but he listed ending the eugenics program as a failure of the federal government. So if you put two and two together there, if ending the eugenics program is a failure of the federal government, then does that mean he wanted to keep the eugenics program around?
I don't know, but I take him at his word. If he said that he no longer represents his view, it could have been an oversight, failed to remove it from his platform. But in any regard, I have no endorsement of eugenics on a personal note.
So we know that you ran Fakertarians as a communist group. We know that you've put at least one image of him with the black sun on that page. You've pretty openly acknowledged that he is in fact a fascist. And you consider a number of alt-righters friends and allies. At various points, you've attempted to claim both membership in the Proud Boys and Identity Europa. How many of these people are also aware that you are, one, openly gay, two, Latino, three, have claimed to be Jewish on more than one occasion, and have also claimed to be in a relationship with a black man for several years now?
Well, all of those are open. I keep none of those facts about my life secret. Augustus was perfectly aware of all those facts when we decided to team up in February, which is another reason that leads me to believe that a lot of the negative things you're tending to suggest about him don't really represent his personal view, because he would not have teamed up with someone like me.
I mean, hasn't he said he wants to advance white nationalism with his presidential campaign?
Openly and repeatedly.
In his presidential campaign, he didn't say white nationalism per se, but he did have it as end white genocide. But if you actually look at what he meant by that, it basically was just a hardline immigration policy. It seemed like he was just using that term for theatrics, because
see if I can pull up his platform.
Yeah,
it was the 9 principles he called them. I believe there were 9. And one of them did say "and white genocide," but if you look at when he elaborates what that means, it basically was just a hardline immigration policy.
Jordan, you can keep asking questions while I'm doing some searching.
So, did you attend the Nationalist Solutions Conference in Nashville about June of last year?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so when Augustus and David Duke were talking, did that not trigger any alarm bells in your head about what a white nationalist actually looks like?
Well, that David Duke was a pretty interesting person to meet. I don't support really almost anything he advocates. He seemed, if for lack of a better word, a character. I was there purely to support Augustus. Me and Augustus actually were both not even there the whole time. We were only there for the first day.
Okay, but you attended a white nationalist convention with David Duke as the key speaker, with the organizer of the first Unite the Right, and you had conversations with Augustus Invictus and David Duke at the same time, and you're claiming that one of them is a white nationalist that you don't support, but the other is not a white nationalist, and you do support him except when he says a few things that you don't think he meant. At what point do you start to realize that the one that you like is also a white nationalist?
Well, I mean, if you look at Augustus's family, I mean, his first wife was a Latina woman. He's adopted a black female child. The large majority, over 2/3 of his children are non-white. So he's partnered with someone who's gay Hispanic. So it does not seem to me as someone is a white nationalist. If it is, that's a pretty odd way to act.
I mean, Thomas Jefferson also had mixed race children. That does not indicate that, like, having a family of people who are of multiple races doesn't make you not a racist.
I mean, that's just my best friend's black excuse here.
Well, it's not my best
like
friend is black. It's I was sleeping with someone every night. Like, that gets a little bit longer, and had 5 children with them. I think that's a little more deep than my best friend.
He doesn't want them to vote.
Yeah, there's a difference between, I mean, how many people did, what was his name? The guy who ran
and also in his presidential platform, I do remember he did include reparations for African Americans in that platform.
That was part of an ethnic cleansing, and you're aware of that. Part of that platform was that they would be given tracts of land and then be removed from society. If you want to pass that off as an attempt at reparations, that's one thing. But to say that there's going to be an attempt to resegregate America and remove the black people and the white people and Hispanics and Asians, whatever, from every group, you can't call it reparations if the end goal is simply to resegregate the United States.
Right, and again, I don't support that plan. I believe they used the term balkanized.
Used it as a defense for why he's not a racist.
No, I did not support
30 seconds ago.
No, I do not support segregation. I truly believe this is a multicultural country, and if you're American, if you're born in this country, in the United States, regardless of the color of your skin, you're an American. You have the right to vote. You have the right to own property. You have the right to work, and all the other privileges and immunities that come with United States citizenship.
But would you think that someone who only wants white men to be allowed to vote and own property is a white nationalist?
He does consider himself a nationalist pretty openly. He hasn't used the qualifier white nationalist. If you want to make that conclusion about him, I know a lot of people have made conclusions about him. You are free to do so. Now, I do remember I agreed I would only take about 6 questions regarding to Invictus. I believe you've gone over that. So I think we should move on to another topic.
That's fine. We've got more. So Jimmy Wood, who is a former GOP legislative candidate in Oklahoma, former host of, was it Radcap Radio?
Right.
Was that
it was Radcap Radio.
Yep, right.
Okay. So he is pretty openly a fascist and a white supremacist, and he's not secretive about it, unlike some people. Now, I think it was about a year ago, he was previously unaware that you were gay, and when he questioned whether or not you or anyone who associates with you could be trusted to make good decisions because of this, within 2 hours of making that comment, his social media was raided by Oklahoma City Antifa. What happened there?
Well, if Jimmy Wood takes any issue with my personal life, that's his loss, I guess. I don't need to appease him. I don't lose any sleep if he doesn't like me.
Right, but did you have anything to do with that?
No, I don't have anything to do with Antifa. In fact, Antifa doesn't like me. Antifa, in November, the Berkeley Antifa tried to jump me when I went to an Ann Coulter event in Berkeley.
And did they do that specifically because it was you, or were you there in attendance with Identity Europa and the Proud Boys?
No. I was not. There was no Identity Europe. In fact, at this point, Identity Europa didn't even exist anymore. There were some Proud Boys there, yes, but I didn't go as a member of any Proud Boys. I actually was in the process of being vetted for the Proud Boys. I ultimately decided not to join because of, how associations with those groups may look as a political candidate. But what I will say with the Proud Boys is the Proud Boys are a multicultural, very open-minded group. They accept men of all races, all sexual orientations, and all backgrounds.
All right, so we've got Hudak. What you got?
What do we got on the list?
Well, you were looking up something from the campaign.
Yeah, I'm still trying to find. He has a longer platform that wasn't just the 9 sentences that I'm trying to find, and I swear I saw it earlier today, but I could not find it.
Okay, so we're going to talk briefly about who else we have here. All right, so let me see. Now, what can you tell us about your relationship with Alexandria Fenella?
Well, Alex, I just kind of talked to her because I knew she was Augustus' ex-girlfriend. We just had conversations back and forth. I don't consider her a personal friend. I haven't spoken to her in months. She just would reach out to me when she was feeling sad and she missed Augustus, and she maybe would ask me how he's doing, how things are going, and I would just reassure, oh yeah, he's doing fine. Things like that.
Okay, so we've seen what you've posted about her, especially when you were in Fakertarians discussion group posting about her.
Like, are you referring to like some memes and I kind of really poorly photoshopped her head onto Eric Cartman and made a meme?
I think that one sounds familiar.
I don't know which one in particular it was, but
yeah, I did make a couple memes and post them in the group. That's correct. But
okay, why would you do that?
Well, just to mock her because she did a Reddit AMA trying to call him a Nazi, and I disagree with that characterization. But
it's an accurate characterization.
Well, I disagree with that. You can draw your own conclusion, but in either case, I really don't have any beef with her. I don't associate with her, but I also don't have anything against her at this time.
Have you ever had anything against her?
Well, yeah, I just said I did have for a period of time because she led this smear campaign against him, that she got the 3rd edition of his 3-series book banned from Amazon because it mentioned her in some way, and I guess she claimed that was a copyright violation. And obviously she made this AMA trying to defame him. So yeah, I was upset at that point, I will admit that. And that's where those memes came from.
Is it defamation if it's an accurate criticism?
Well, I'm using defamation in a colloquial sense, not in a legal sense. Obviously, nobody's filed any defamation lawsuit against her. I believe it's defamatory because I don't believe that statement actually accurately describes him.
What you got, Hudak?
I'm not finding it. I was looking at something earlier today, and I do not know where it is.
Well, I know he removed his website.
Okay.
Like really, really soon after and I can't find it either because I tried to find some things because I already obviously knew you guys would ask me about that, so I wanted to read up on it, but
I think there was
couldn't find it either.
I remember a longer statement of his platform. Like I found the 9 principles one, but I remember one that had more substance to it.
Yeah, I've been trying to poke around too. I'm not able to find anything, unfortunately, so it just must be it must have been disappeared off the internet.
So, just as a quick personal question, do we have any reason to believe that you're telling the truth when you claim that, like, you're not as involved as you claim as you are with Augustus, or that, you know, you haven't lied about your own identity in the past, when you've admitted to lying before using the justification that sometimes conservatives have to lie to protect themselves? Like, we know that you lied about Kat Snyder not organizing Unite the Right, and we caught you saying that.
Well, Kat Snyder, you did not organize Unite the Right. You asked Unite the Right.
Unite the Right too.
August 2017, but she did not organize Unite the
She
Right.
organized Unite the Right too.
Yeah,
Well,
the chat logs
you can
confirmed
use
that.
the word organized loosely. She was personal friends with some of the organizers, and that's
But
what
she
gave
was
it
in
away.
the organization chat and she was helping with it.
Yeah, the chat logs leaked. You claimed that she had nothing to do with it when the leaks occurred, and then later admitted that that was a lie because conservatives need to lie to protect themselves sometimes. There's also evidence that on more than one occasion, you've used a different Facebook page, which you claimed was your boyfriend, whose name was Aaron, to post photos with a profile picture of a black person, so that you could say the N-word and advocate for the extermination of Jews. And we also, like,
No, I haven't.
you
used
can say that it wasn't
Facebook
you,
page.
but
That
we have
wasn't-
evidence, like, we still have the screenshots of the account that posted that. You can say that it wasn't you, but even if it wasn't you, you said it was your boyfriend.
That is correct. At the time, it was, yes.
Okay. So do you realize that, intentionally or otherwise, all of the important people in your life that you say have no reflection on you as a person have either run for office on a platform that included eugenics, or advocated for the extermination of Jews, which, and while you were aware of it, because you claimed to be dating when they said it, and you're not seeing any kind of larger pattern or conclusions that anyone would draw about you, despite everyone around you appearing to be an avid fascist and really, really, really have a problem with Jewish people, up to and including you saying that you couldn't be anti-Semitic because you yourself was Jewish, while Kat Schneider was also talking to you on Instagram, posting Mein Kampf.
I'm aware she's read that book. I don't know how much of that she endorses or let people read different books, but Kat's never expressed anything to me that she has anything wrong with Jewish people. In fact, if I recall correctly, Kat informed me that she's also partially Jewish herself.
Right, and you've said that before. While,
well, I mean, if you believe she's lying, you can believe that I have no reason to doubt her, and she's told me the same thing.
But you know she lied about the Unite the Right 2 thing, right?
We know that you also lied about the Unite the Right 2 thing.
Are you claiming that I was present at Unite the Right 2 because that
No.
was false?
No.
I was not present at either Unite the Right.
No, we're claiming that you were aware that Kat Schneider was involved in organizing Unite the Right 2 and lied about it.
Well,
even after Kat admitted it, you lied about her being involved.
Well, she kept her involvement in Unite the Right 2 hidden from people, including me. I believe she lied to me too about her involvement.
Right, but you were also aware of Augustus's involvement in the first one, and
yes.
continued to not only defend him, but defend James Fields.
No, I don't defend James Fields. I believe James Fields rightly should belong behind bars today. My position on James Fields is just an open question about whether he acted intentionally with malice or whether he was just afraid and made a mistake by flooring his car when he shouldn't have. But either way, he caused a loss of life and he needs to be held accountable for the loss of life. The question is just whether it's intentional or not.
Right, and this is a recent update to your stance on this, because you said for a very long time the exact phrase that you continued to post over and over again was James Fields did nothing wrong. And you can argue that your position has changed, but your position has conveniently changed now that Augustus is no longer around you.
Well, even back then when I used that phrase, that was more of using it in the form of a meme. I've always believed that if you commit vehicular manslaughter, you deserve to be held accountable by the legal system. It's just an open question on James Fields whether it was intentional or whether it was an act of negligence.
So I found, going back to what we were before, I've been using Internet Wayback Machine, and I found Augustus's Articles of Reconstitution. He says it's his 18 specific policy objectives that he will pursue upon taking office. Number 16 is repeal of the 19th Amendment. Only white male citizens have the right to vote. Furthermore, only white male citizens are eligible to own real property within the country.
What year was that, Hudak?
This is from 2019 September. It's from his 2020 presidential campaign.
Okay, Anthony, since we've caught you lying to us live this time, how we doing, buddy? Damn, it got quiet, didn't it? Now, here's the thing, because I'm pretty certain that this is where it's about to get into the deep water for all of us. Now, it's pretty common knowledge that he's a racist. Yeah, there he goes.
There he went.
All right. All right. So since we knew he was going to do that, we have statements prepared. Don't worry, everyone. So here's what we're about to do for you. Anthony, because I know you're watching this on the playback, because we're going to put this to YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and everywhere else that will air it. So we know you lied about Unite the Right. We know you lied about Kat Snyder. We know it's pretty common knowledge that you are a racist and that so is Augustus and David Duke and all the other people in your life that actually pretend to care about you. Here's the thing. Augustus is pretty clear about what he thinks to people should happen to people who are disloyal to him, because he's in jail for that currently, because of the wives that, you say he cares so much about, and will prove that he's not a racist, even though he's been accused of domestic violence by actually all of them and is in jail for it in one case. But here's the thing. He's pretty clear about what he thinks should happen to people.
Hello, sorry, I'm back. I didn't leave or anything. I just had a connection issue.
Uh-huh.
Welcome back.
Okay, good. We got the last question for you then.
Right. I'm going to really don't take related to Invictus, but I will end on the topic of him that right now Augustus and I aren't collaborating on any type of political project. I am just like you wait in this case. Obviously, it comes to light
That's because he's in
that the
jail.
accusations against him are true, then I will obviously reconsider my position with him accordingly.
But do you have any problem with the thing we just brought up about that point from his Articles of Reconstitution, where he says only white male citizens have the right to vote. Furthermore, only white male citizens are eligible to own real property within the country.
What the hell? Sorry, I'm having can you connection issues?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I heard you say mm-hmm. Can you just repeat what you said?
Oh, me?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so
no, I can hear you better now. You can repeat what you said.
Okay, so I was talking about the Articles of Reconstitution from his 2020 presidential campaign that I found on the Wayback Machine, and how we were talking before about the white male citizen thing, and you were saying that wasn't part of his campaign, but it was. If you go to, I put the link in the stream for this. Number 16 on the Articles of Reconstitution says repeal of the 19th Amendment. Only white male citizens have the right to vote. Furthermore, only white male citizens are eligible to own real property within the country. I mean, to me, if only white males can own property, that sounds like white nationalism to me. Does it not?
It sounds like he's trying to have a throwback to the 1800s, which is one of the precise reasons why I didn't endorse his presidential campaign. I knew that he was going to take positions that I didn't agree with, which is why I decided to endorse the incumbent president for the election.
But isn't the first
Instead of-
time. That isn't the first time he's endorsed positions like that. And earlier in this interview, you used his supposed reparations for slavery issue as a defense to prove that he was not a white nationalist. You've used his previous statements and his family to demonstrate that he isn't a white nationalist, when the family that he apparently cares so much about, he's in jail because of how he treats that family. Like, all of your defenses of things that would indicate he's not a white nationalist either aren't true or are only partial truths.
I don't believe that makes him a white nationalist. In fact,
you don't think that his call
I'm not
for
sure whether the
segregation and for
accusations
only
against
white
him are
males
true
to
or
own property and vote makes him a white nationalist?
Well, you brought the charges up against him that he's facing now. The charges he's facing now aren't violence against minorities. It's a white woman, but I don't know if they're true or not. If they are true, obviously that's terrible, and I would reconsider my friendship with him. But it's not indicative of any form of racism.
But that's
we're talking
not
about a white woman.
right.
That's not what we asked.
That's not what the white nationalism is. It's the point in his platform about only white males being able to own property.
Right. He did. Do you guys want to say something? Wait. Let's say hi. What's going on, people? I don't know. These guys just wanted to say something. So
Hey.
there's your person. You thought I was a sock puppet. So
It's a person yelling a racial slur at us, but that we can't see. So,
And that wasn't. I didn't hear a racial slur. I just heard "hey people" or something.
did you hear the next word?
yeah,
there,
he just
or-
said,
Oh, I didn't.
yeah. So that settles that question.
What question?
About you were accusing me of being the person that was posting that. Obviously, that is not me.
But isn't that a different
right.
person?
You said that person's name was Aaron, and that was your ex-boyfriend. Are you hanging out with your ex-boyfriend right now?
I'm with two people right now, my current and my ex, which is also his ex.
I have several,
That
Yes,
sounds
very
like,
interesting.
not even involving
No,
that
that-
relationship.
as a gay man, that totally is normal.
I'm
you
not
wanna
even
ask me about
questioning
my
that part of it.
relationship?
I'm
Please
questioning
ask me-
how they feel about you
Please ask me
supporting
about
a
my
candidate who
relationship.
says that they shouldn't be allowed to live in the same country as you.
Well, I made it very clear, Jordan, that I did not support that candidate in his presidential campaign. I was supporting Donald Trump, the incumbent president.
But you don't
Right,
think he's
but-
a white nationalist?
I don't think he's a white nationalist. No, I know he is a nationalist, but there are other forms of nationalism, such
So-
as civic nationalism and whatnot.
So is only white males being able to own property? Is that civic nationalism or white nationalism?
Nationalism, when white
I
people
believe
are only
that-
in charge is white nationalism. I mean,
Like, it seems race-based to me. If it's not saying only Americans can own property, which I could have some issues with that too, but then maybe you could say that's civic nationalism. But when you're talking about a race-based approach to voting or a race-based approach to owning property, that certainly seems like racial nationalism. And when when the race is white, then that's white nationalism.
What I believe he was trying to get in, and again, I don't endorse the position he was saying there, but he wasn't saying that white people are better than any other race or anything of that effect, because he was also saying that, okay, other groups of people will have their own territory in which they will only be able to own property and vote within that respective territory.
Right, but that territory would not be
Which goes back
considered
to
the
the-
United States.
But-
It's also not a position that he adapted just for 2020. It's a position he's held for years before that, and you're pretending that didn't ever
Yeah,
come
I'm
up before
aware-
his presidential election.
But even if he's not
Yeah,
saying
I'm aware he took the position of partitioning the United States up into different individual separate nations, which I don't agree with. I know he and some other libertarians even were supporting a California independence movement, which I also don't agree with. I still think California should be part of the United States. I just do not support breaking up the United States at all.
But going back to before, it's not necessarily. I mean, I personally think he believes that in racial supremacy, but we're talking about racial nationalism, which is a certain race having more rights in a certain geographic area. So, I mean, I just don't see how it doesn't have to be.
Are you asking me, do I believe? So are you asking me, do I believe Augustus Invictus puts white people or advocacy for white people above
I'm
others?
asking
Is that what you're asking me?
No, I'm asking if you believe he's a white nationalist.
Do I believe he's a white nationalist? Define what you mean by white nationalism, because I definitely don't believe he's a white supremacist. But it depends on what do you mean by white nationalism?
I mean,
he wants
a given geographic area where white people have more rights and it's predominantly white.
I think he does. I think I could concede he does agree with some positions of white nationalism, but there are also some inconsistencies he holds
Like
with
what?
white nationalists as well.
What are the inconsistencies that he holds with white nationalism?
Well, I'll give you an example. Most white nationalists do tend to have a racist point of view when it comes to other ethnicities, and I've never heard Augustus express any form of hatred for any other racial or ethnic group.
He's written extensively about it, including more than one occasion how much I think the quote was, he hates the racial souls of Jews, and he's an advocate of eugenics.
You brought that quote up quite a few times, the racial soul quote. I've actually looked for that quote and I haven't been able to find it. I actually would be very glad if you can get it to me, because I honestly had been trying to find it.
You also couldn't find his campaign where he said anything racist, and then he advocated for segregation and only white males voting. It's just easier to call you a liar at this point.
You can make any characterization you want, but I maintain my position that I did not support that campaign, and that there was a good reason why I did not support it.
Because you endorsed Donald Trump, not because you had any problem with what he didn't actually change any positions in 2020. He just ran against the other Republican candidate.
Right. Well, he informed
none of his positions changed going into 2020. You just decided in 2016.
In 2016, if you look at this U.S. Senate platform, there was nothing that included repealing any amendments that would make only white male citizens be able to own property or vote. That was not part of his platform in 2016. In 2020, if his position changed, then I maintain my right to say I don't agree with that.
Would you want to sever ties with him?
I'm waiting to see how his legal case turns out, and if his legal case turns out not in his favor, and it turns out that he is guilty of what he's charged of, yes, I will sever ties with him.
So you wouldn't sever ties over the fact that he only wants white males to be able to own property and vote?
Well, I have severed ties with him already politically. I replaced him as my running mate. I would never appoint him to any position again unless those views were to change again. But as far as on a personal note, do I still consider him a friend of mine? Yes. But would I change that as well? If his legal case comes out of his favor, yes.
Do you think he did it?
Yeah, I can attest that Anthony's not racist. He's one of my best friends, so.
Okay, thank you, DeAndre.
Thank you, disembodied voice on a webcam whose webcam is turned off.
There's the fake black. Oh, DeAndre, come here. Okay, I'll turn on the camera.
But didn't you say your boyfriend was named Aaron?
Okay, say hi, DeAndre. Say hi. Say hi.
Hi, hello.
So where's Aaron?
How is that the fake?
But where's Aaron? Where's the ex-boyfriend?
Yeah, wasn't the last name Rogers or something like that?
Aaron Ijerk Rogers, I think it was.
Yeah.
That's not the actual real name. That was the name was a soft name, I will admit that. But the account was not.
So where's the ex-boyfriend you're with?
Who was also talking about ethnically cleansing the Jews when you were dating him. that you're still
No, no,
friends
no.
with for some
Nobody
reason.
here is talking about ethnic cleansing Jews.
But we were talking about didn't the Aaron I Jerk Rogers account talk about that?
He did, which is why we thought it was Anthony on a sock account when he posted it. Which, according to Anthony,
Yes,
was the
we
other
are both-
person
no,
who was
he even
hanging out
posted
with him at the time.
Yeah. Well, you saw the person who thought it was fake, the same person who was at the convention. I told Kevin Shaw, there's the person you think doesn't exist. So that rumor
Right.
is
We
put to
don't
rest.
care that
you can
he
make for that if we will.
We don't care that he exists or not. We care
You
that
don't care that I'm in a relationship with an African American because you're trying to imply I'm a white supremacist. And why would I do that?
Right. Well, we've also claimed that you're a pathological liar with a horrible need for attention. That hasn't really been able to put two and two together about who is and is not a white supremacist and who is and is not a white
You can believe that if you
nationalist.
want. You can
And
believe that
it's
if you
pretty
want. But what
consistent that everyone
I
you
am
talk
doing
to-
on Monday today is I am not going. What I am doing on Monday today, because Monday is Stephon Clark's birthday, I will be in Sacramento commemorating Stephon Clark's birthday, calling for justice for people who are victims of white supremacy with my very good friend, Stephon's brother, who has been my closest political ally ever since Invictus came out of the picture.
Okay.
So
you were doing that while
anything I have done in the past, I am pretty sure I have done more than make amends for it.
You have not, because you've done that every year for a while now, and you were friends with Augustus after that, while Augustus was calling for all black people to not be able to vote. Now you can make whatever you want about it.
This is about the fifth time I've said this now, but if he has said that, I don't agree with that position.
He said it a lot. And we just got through reading his campaign platform.
If you don't want to believe me, that's your prerogative, but I'm not going to repeat myself again. And I'm not going to address that question again.
Okay, that's fine. Why is it that every person involved in your personal life, also just by coincidence, really doesn't like Jewish people?
I wasn't aware of. Well, whom are you referring to besides Invictus?
Well, the ex-boyfriend who you said was in the background.
I've had a conversation with Augustus on his position with Jewish people. What he told me, and again, if you don't believe this, that is your prerogative. But what I was told, I will tell you the complete truth. If you think he was lying to me, you can inform me. But this is what I was under the position that Augustus did send me an email one time under the course of when he was my running mate saying, I agree with you on most issues, Anthony, but what I do not agree with you is your support of the state of Israel.
Didn't he publish an article on his website, not from him, but from one of his writers about the Jewish question?
He did.
Are you talking about, oh God, what's her name? It was a woman, right?
Avalé Horton. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but yeah.
Oh, yes, I know her. She's the base Southern Belle, right?
Yeah, the one who is involved with all the Charlottesville people.
Yeah, I know her. She's she posted something on her website, but again, that came from her. That did not come from Invictus.
But it was on the Revolutionary Conservative, which is Invictus's website.
Right. Yeah, again, that came from her. I don't really know her that well. I've only met her because she has been part of the Revolutionary Conservative. I don't consider her a personal friend, though.
But why would Invictus publish something about the Jewish question if he didn't have a problem with Jews?
I don't believe Justice has a problem with Jews. And if he does, he's done a pretty good job keeping it hidden. I don't agree with that conservatization.
But he published an article on his website about the Jewish question.
You used a picture of the black sun to promote him on your website and your Facebook page.
Oh, are you aware that Augustus Invictus is a pagan?
Yes.
Are you aware of what other people have used the black sun? Are you about to tell us that the swastika is just a good luck charm too?
Well, no, I've never seen any instance of Augustus posting a swastika. So we're talking about two different things: apples and oranges.
It's pretty similar if you look at Nazi symbolism.
Mm-hmm. I don't have any instance of. Tell you what, Jordan, If you can give me a concrete instance of a Invictus using the Nasty swastika, I will disavow him this moment. If you can give it to me.
We'd have you using the Black Sun. I'm not saying that Augustus has used a swastika, although Aaron did, so that's fun. But by the way, isn't Aaron the ex-boyfriend who is also hanging out with you and your current boyfriend right now?
Aaron is my ex-boyfriend.
The one that you just said was hanging out with you and your current boyfriend.
Right.
Can we talk to him?
The one that you were very, very confident.
I asked him. Well, I just asked him to say hello to you. I asked these two guys if they want to talk to you, and they have said, because they've already been overhearing this line of questioning, that they think it's digging in too deep. So they've already said they won't go beyond just saying hello to you to prove they exist.
It's funny how that person that we've said didn't exist for so long vanished from where the webcam could reach them as soon as we asked them if they were there.
Well, you saw him. You could see he's a real person. I don't need to defend that anymore.
No, you're really well. You do, but you're not going to.
And there are people. I know you're close to Kevin Shaw. I know you're close to Joshua Smith. I know you're close to other people who were at that state LP convention who met him in person, so they can also attest to.
Was that Aaron or the other guy?
Was that DeAndre or was that Aaron?
DeAndre.
Okay, we're asking about Aaron, Anthony. We're asking about the person who was posting swastikas and ethnic cleansing that you said was your boyfriend at the time. And you just said earlier that he is currently with you and DeAndre. Is that person real or not?
Yes.
Okay. Now is your chance to prove it.
Give me one moment. Give me one moment to see if there'll be willing to come on. I can't guarantee.
Anybody else having a lot of fun?
I am.
Well, we can use this moment to advertise our shirt. Oh wait, I gotta turn off the blue screen here. 1 second. So we made some shirts recently. No sleeves, no masters.
So unfortunately, yeah, he's not going to be able to come on right now. I just asked.
Can you take a picture of him?
I won't be able to right now.
Okay.
No.
Oh God, this is fun.
So, do you guys have any other questions not related to Invictus? Because I did initially state that I would only take 6 questions, and I think I've already taken well over 3 or 4 times that amount.
Is the goat video real?
Actually, and this is the complete truth, I don't know if it's real. I have heard that it's real. I have heard that it's real, but I've never seen the video. I've never seen the video about the goat incident.
But the goat thing did happen, though, right? That's a thing.
Augustus tells me it actually happened, and I'd have no reason to disbelieve him, but I've never seen the video.
I mean, you also apparently believe that him calling for only white males to vote in the United States and then ethnically cleansing people is not indicative of him having any other problem. Why would you believe the goat tape comments, if anything else?
I don't have any reason for him to deny something. Wait, what did someone write about Grindr?
I don't know. We have a guy. Wait. Okay, let's pivot. What the fuck does Grindr have to do with anything?
I have no idea.
On the stream,
commented that. I mean, that's where we met, but I mean, that doesn't mean the person's not real.
Well, right. You refusing for 3 years to document that the person is real or explaining why a person.
I've already proven that person at that state convention. I'm not going to do it again. You
didn't. You proved a different person was there. You haven't proved that the person that you were dating that was posting about killing all the Jews is anything except you on a sock account. And
yeah, well, I can't help that relationship wasn't going on at the time anymore.
You just said he's outside your car right now. He's still there. At best, you're claiming that you're still at least close friends with your ex-boyfriend who wants to exterminate the Jews.
He's never said that.
Yeah, he did. That was one of the comments that like got those accounts frozen in the group.
He may have said some things that weren't very friendly towards Jewish people, but as far as exterminating, I'm not aware of any
Yeah, at the
incidents. I
time
am
you
completely
described
aware
him
of
as a black neo-Nazi. You were pretty straightforward about it at the time.
right. And again, I will say there is a good reason why I'm not no longer dating him.
Right, but you're still hanging out with him outside of anything else because you just said he's with you right now.
I wouldn't.
Okay, well, if anyone doesn't have any other questions, I think we could wrap up for today. Thank you, Anthony, for coming on. And actually, do you have anything else you'd like to say before we wrap up? I'll give you the floor. Okay, I'm going to guess that's a no. So thank you for coming on, taking the hard questions, and we'll see everyone again in 2 weeks. Thank you very much.